Hey everybody, it's April 17th, 2017, and this is Daily Vlog number 352, and it's Monday, and just how the heck is everybody today? I really want to know. Put a message down in the comments and tell me how you're doing. As for me, I'm doing pretty good today. It's been a fairly good day, being Monday, got the day off. If you had the day off today, I hope you had a good time. If not, I hope it wasn't too bad for you. I've got 6 news stories to tell you about today. So let's just get to it. And it seems like your United Airlines just can't stay out of the news. First article here is United Airlines refunds fares to all Flight 3411 passengers. By now, you know about what happened Sunday before last when Dr. David Dow was yanked off a plane by airport security because he wouldn't give up his seat for a flight crew member, and he got a busted nose, couple of teeth knocked out, concussion, and damage to his sinuses, and he's going to have reconstructive surgery. And this has been all over the internet, and now United has said that they're just going to refund the ticket prices to all the passengers on that flight. Well, you know, there's going to be a lawsuit over this. They're in the process of filing one against the airlines. So to me, doing that just seems like they're trying to influence witnesses on the plane there. It seems like witness tampering, kind of. I mean, if they're all going to get refunded tickets, they're basically flew for free. Uh, so, but you know, the videos are out there. They can't change that. They're not going to get them off the internet. So, we'll see what happens. But to me, it just seems a little shady there to refund everybody on that flight. And then the next story here is United Airlines boots bride and groom traveling to their wedding from half-empty plane. Evidently, this bride and groom, they were on their way to their wedding, and they got on the plane and they got to their seats, and somebody was stretched out in their seats. So the guy said that they went down a couple of rows and sat down, and then a flight attendant came up and said that they had to move back to their seats, and he said that they did do that. And they said after they had moved back to their original seats, a few minutes later, an air marshal came up and said that they had to leave the plane. Now, United Airlines has a different take on this. They say that the couple moved up a couple of rows and they were told that they had to go back to their seats, and then when they were told that, they didn't comply right away, and finally they did go back, but then they tried to go back up to the other seats again. So they called the air marshal, and the air marshal had him put off the plane. Now, a couple of things just don't really add up for me here. One is he said that when they got to their seats, there was somebody laid out in their seats there. Well, you know, if somebody's sitting in my seat, when I fly, which I don't fly that often, but when I fly, I always try and book a window seat if it's available, because I like to look out the window when I fly. So if somebody was sitting in my seat when I got up on the plane to my seat, I'd just politely ask them to move because they were in the wrong seat. But, you know, that's just me. But then the guy also said that after they were taken off the plane, after the plane took off, the flight attendants told the passengers on the plane that they were free to go to any seat that they wanted to on the plane. Well, you know, if he was taken off the plane like that, like he says, how does he know what the flight attendants told the passengers? So that just doesn't add up to me. You know, like I said, if somebody's sitting in my seat, I'm going to ask them to move. Now, the seats that they moved up to, they were still in the economy class where they had originally booked their seats, but there was an upgraded economy class seats in that section 2 rows up. So They were actually trying to get an upgrade there, or something along those lines. And maybe they just got caught at it and didn't like it. But anyway, what do you think? Do you think that they were trying to pull a fast one and get into the upgraded economy class, or do you think somebody was actually sitting in their seat where they were supposed to be? Let me know. Tell me what you think about it. And on the next story here, I know a lot of people are fed up with United Airlines, and they've cut up their cards associated with United Airlines, and people said that they'll never fly with United again. And I probably wouldn't book a flight with United either, because I wouldn't want to take the risk of being manhandled on a flight like that. You know, going through airport security with the TSA is bad enough, but then get on a flight and get roughed up besides, not a good thing. So I wouldn't necessarily want to fly United either, but you might want to consider this the next time you fly. This next story here is Delta will pay you up to $10,000 to give up your seat. Delta Airlines has just come up with a new thing. If they're overbooked and they're looking for people to give up their seats, they'll pay you up to $10,000 to give up your seat. Now, there's been a lot of people that have kind of made this a living. You know, they intentionally book seats on a flight that they are pretty sure is going to get overbooked, and then when the airline asks for volunteers to give up their seats and they'll pay them money, they take that money and make some change. But you know, just recently I talked about a wife and her child and her husband were on a family trip over the weekend, and they got bumped from a flight, and they got $1,350 for the first flight, and then when they tried it again, they got bumped again, and they got $1,300 for that flight, and then they decided just to not go on their weekend at all, so they turned in their tickets for another $1,000 a piece, so they ended up with $11,000 at the end of all that. But yeah, if you got a couple and a child on there and they get booted from a Delta flight, you could get up to $30,000. I mean, that's more money than a lot of people make in a year. Man, that's just crazy. It kind of makes me wonder with if they're not just making the prices of seats way too high when they can afford to pay out that kind of money. Really, airline seats should be cheaper. They shouldn't be making that big of a profit on people. But anyway, that's my opinion. What do you think? Put a note down in the comments. Let me know. Do you think if they've got enough money to offer $10,000 per seat for giving up your seat on an airplane, do you think they're making a little too much money that they need to cut back a little bit or stop overbooking, whatever? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Next story here is Georgia officials dismiss 89 cases linked to fired officers shown kicking, punching motorists. The other day I showed you a video or told you about an article about an officer that had pulled over a motorist and pulled him out of the car, and on the video you really couldn't see if the first officer had kicked the guy or what he'd done, but he ended up on the ground rolling around, and then you see a second officer run up and you can clearly see him kick the guy in the head. Well, just recently another video came out with a different angle, and the first officer, when he pulled this guy out of his car, they were standing up by the car, and this guy that he pulled out had his hands in the air, and the officer just punched him in the face and threw him on the ground. So then the other angle is showing where the officer is wrestling with this guy, putting him in the handcuffs, and the second officer runs up and clearly kicks him in the head. Well, now the police are dismissing 89 cases that these officers have links to, because they can't, with a good conscience, say that these were fair and proper arrests. So 89 cases get thrown out because of these two officers. And you know, after what they did to this guy on the road, I think they really should have criminal charges brought against him. This is still under investigation, and but yeah, they need to be criminally charged with what they did, because one thing, he punched him in the face when he had his hands in the air, but then this other officer, after he's handcuffed on the ground, he's not going anywhere. He runs up and kicks the guy in the head. I don't know what these two were all about. Maybe they were mad because they had to arrest him a second time because they had arrested him once before on something, but I don't know. What do you think? Do you think they should be brought up on charges, or do you think firing's good enough? I personally think they need to be brought up on charges. But yeah, put that down in the comments. Let me know what you think. And then next article here is court upholds $300,000 fine after Trump refuses to pay Miami paint shop. Evidently, Donald Trump had ordered this paint for one of his properties, and he had paid most of the bill except for like $32,000 or $34,000, and he refused to pay that. So the paint shop put a lien against his property, and they took him to court. Well, Trump's lawyers have been filing motions to get this thrown out of court, and one of the motions that they filed was that the lien was improperly served because it was put on the wrong property. But in this latest determination by the judge, they said that it doesn't matter. Even if the lien was filed on the wrong property, Trump still owes the money. So the judge awarded the paint shop $300,000, $32,000 or $34,000 for the original bill, plus attorney's fees and court costs. Excuse me. Now, my advice to everybody that's thinking about having business dealings with Trump or one of his businesses or any of his family, that if you're going to be doing work for them, you get your money up front and in full, because according to this article, Trump's being sued by thousands of businesses for this sort of thing. So that would be my advice to you. Get your money up front and in full before you do any work on any Trump properties or anything having to do with Trump. And then the next story here is personal doctor says Emma Morano at 117, the world's oldest person, has died in her Italian home. Yeah, this lady, she 107, the oldest person alive, and she's also the last person to be born in the 1800s. She was born in 1899, and she had a long life, and evidently a pretty good one. And my thoughts and prayers go out to her and her family, and she had a good run. Well, that's it, everybody. That's all the news I got. If you like my video, please give me a thumbs up, and also please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And tell your friends and family about my channel and my videos. And take a look at my social media sites, G+, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you missed yesterday's vlog, just click on the image there. And please check out my website, the Chuck Baker homepage at chuckbaker.org. Till tomorrow, everybody, take care. Bye-bye.